guys have been in the youth ministry for 5 years or more, and some of you have been here for less than 5 months. And we're thankful for every single one of you, whether you've been around for a while or you're just starting out. And we want you to be able to make the most of the time you have in our youth ministry. And so we wanted to take this time tonight to talk about what we do, how and why and all that stuff. Some of you have heard all this before, and so it'll kind of be a review for you. Others, though, are trying to figure out the CYM and how they fit into it. So hopefully tonight we'll answer those questions. So the first thing I want to do tonight is talk about how we approach youth ministry and what all our goals are. How many of you parents, just out of curiosity, came to at least one of the Ministering to Millennials class we did earlier? Okay, about half of you. If you attended that, you know that most people in this country are not very interested in religion. They're not necessarily hostile toward it, but it's just not something that they think about very much. Many teenagers today, even the ones who grew up participating in church activities, have very shallow faith. Somehow they just haven't learned what it means to really be a follower of Jesus. The research we looked at said that as churches try to figure out how to reach this age group, that we need to keep in mind that we're never going to be more entertaining than our culture. I mean, we just can't compete with Hollywood and sports and all that kind of stuff in the area of entertainment. And I think traditionally speaking, youth ministry has operated under the assumption that we can do that. We can compete in the area of entertainment. I mean, the idea for many decades seems to have been that if we can just have enough fun events or play enough interesting games or go on enough cool trips that we'll be able to keep teenagers around long enough for some sort of Bible understanding to rub off on them. The world of youth ministry, though, has been changing a lot in recent years. It seems as though everyone is realizing that youth ministry needs to be much deeper than it has been, and that if all we do is entertain our children, then we haven't accomplished very much because they won't have a truly lasting faith when they leave us. And you know, it's true that here at Central we do give the teens opportunities to go on trips, to have fun together. We do some entertaining things, but the fun is in a much different context than it once was for many youth ministries. When we get together to have fun, it's in the context of fellowship. It isn't just fun for the sake of fun. It's having fun together. It's fostering the development of relationships so that those relationships can be used to make disciples. That is our one and only goal in the youth ministry here. It's to make disciples who are capable of making other disciples. About 4.5 years ago, the youth leadership team, we sat down and asked ourselves what it would look like if we had an intentional process for making disciples. And we concluded that discipleship involved 3 primary things. And so each week, we try to give our teens opportunity to do those 3 things: to get closer to God, to get closer to each other, and to do something in service of others. And that's the same process the entire congregation has adopted. You've heard it as love God, love each other, and serve the world. Now, that's not just a slogan. It's a description of both who we are and how we go about doing what we believe we've been called to do. And so to understand those 3 phrases, you have to understand them as a chronological, intentional process. The first step is coming to understand and love God. To love God means to understand who He is and what He's done for us. Jesus explained in John 8 that after continuing in His teachings, after listening to His teachings, a person could know the truth and that the truth would set him free. And then He made a very bold claim in John 14:6. He said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." So to know Jesus, to know His teaching, is to know truth, or to put it another way, is to know God. And so once a relationship is developed with God, the next step is to love his other children. Paul told the Romans that the Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are children of God, and if children, heirs also, heirs of God and fellow heirs with Christ, Romans 8, 16 and 17. If God has adopted us, as it talks about in verse 15, then we're all brothers and sisters belonging to the same family. And as a family, we not only share companionship as siblings, but we also possess the unique qualities of a royal bloodline as heirs to God's kingdom. That uniqueness is something that we only share with other Christians. And so we depend upon them to understand, as possibly nobody else can, where we want to go, how we want to get there, and what might cause us to stumble along the way. That's the second step of our process, is loving each other. The third step is to serve the world. James, in his book, pointed out that a knowledge of God and even a knowledge of those around us doesn't do any good unless that knowledge produces action. He reasoned this. He said, but someone will well say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith without the works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James went on to say that even the demons believe in God. They've got that intellectual belief, but that belief alone doesn't accomplish anything if it's not strong enough to generate good deeds. So we've got love God, love each other, and serve the world. Now, as I said, our program in the youth ministry is set up to give our teens an opportunity to do each of those things, each of those three things every week. Sunday mornings is our Love God time. We worship together in the auditorium. We come together here in the youth room for Illuminate. The main focus is to deepen our understanding of and appreciation for God. We sing praises to Him, we read His Word, and we give testimony to what He's done in our lives. On Wednesday nights, we have Refuge. This is our Love Each Other time. While we do open the Bible, while we do study God's Word and have lessons from it, the main focus is on getting to know each other. And especially during the school year, but sometimes during the summer, we split up into discussion groups. These groups are led by adult facilitators most of the month. One Wednesday night a month, they're led by the teens. And the goal is to give our teens the chance to talk about themselves, basically. Talk about what's going on in their lives and how they can continue to grow spiritually. They learn to depend on the other people in the group for advice, guidance, direction, and just basic support. A couple of times each month, we have a big service project that everyone's encouraged to participate in. For instance, this Sunday, a few days from now, we're going to be meeting here in the upper room at 12:30. We're going to eat lunch and learn a little bit about the country of Nigeria. Christians in Nigeria have been facing a lot of persecution lately, and so we're going to talk about that and go over some things that we need to be praying about to help them. Pretty often we go and visit Miss Connie Brock, try to cheer her up. We planned to do that a few weeks ago, but she wasn't feeling very well. We may have a house that needs painting or a yard that needs work done in it. And so these big projects, along with smaller projects that we have each week, we hope will accomplish the last step in the process. We believe that this process will enable the teens here to develop real faith of their own and then pass that faith to others. Sadly, many youth ministries haven't been very successful in passing on true faith to teenagers. The lady whose book we studied in the millennials class, Kenda Dean, she says that it's because for many years we've assumed that youth ministers do most of the youth ministry. Let me say that again. She says the reason that we haven't, churches in general, haven't been successful in passing on true faith to their children is that we falsely assume that youth ministers do most of the youth ministry. Her research, though, has found that parents and at times other mentors are far, far, far more effective in passing along real faith, far more effective than the youth ministers. And And her point is that the best way to pass along genuine faith to teenagers is to let them see it lived out every day in real-world situations. In fact, she says that parents typically get what they are when it comes to the faith of their children. If you want to know what a child's faith is going to look like in the future, you really just need to look at his or her parents. Now, it may sound a little odd to hear a youth minister point to a study that indicates that he doesn't do most of the youth ministry. But my point is that many people tend to misunderstand the role that a youth minister should play. You know, if a person expects a youth minister to be an effective mentor to every single student in the ministry, that person's probably going to be disappointed. I mean, youth ministers can serve as great teachers and mentors and encouragers, but a youth minister is just one person. You know, it would be like expecting the head coach of a football team to have a really successful program without having any assistant coaches. I mean, imagine the head coach imagine seeing a head coach who's responsible for running every single practice, working with every player, drawing up every play. That coach is going to work himself to death and probably not have a whole lot to show for it. And so schools allow the head coach to recruit other coaches to help. He gets a quarterback coach to work with the quarterbacks. He gets a defensive back coach to work with the defensive backs. He brings in people who can work in specific areas with specific players, knowing that he can't be effective in coaching each player himself. I mean, it's a very simple economic situation. I mean, a youth minister is a limited resource. And so in my mind, that idea of a coach is a picture of what the role of a youth minister is. And I believe it's backed up not only by the research that we've looked at, but also in Scripture. Youth ministers are like the head coach of youth ministry, basically. They coordinate events, they kind of hold everything together, but they're not going to be successful in coaching each student without a great group of dedicated assistants. More than anything, the youth minister's job is to put the right people in the right places so that everyone in the ministry can grow and learn. The research shows that it's mainly through those mentoring relationships that lasting faith is instilled in young people. So I want to take this opportunity to encourage any of you guys, any of you parents or grandparents or just friends in the back who would like to help out. Please let me know. You may not think that you're qualified, but if you can be honest and real with a group of teenagers, then you're qualified. And I'm sure a lot of these guys would love to learn from your wisdom. In addition to being backed up by research, like I said, and this is more importantly, this idea is backed up in Scripture. Ephesians 4:11 and 12 says this. And he personally, talking about Jesus, gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers, for the training of the saints and the work of ministry to build up the body of Christ, until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of God's Son, growing into a mature man with a stature measured by Christ's fullness. He made people apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists, shepherds, to equip the saints for the work of ministry. God put people in certain positions. He gives them certain gifts so that they can equip the saints, the church members, for ministry. And that's what I try to do every day with our teens. Continually with the football analogy, at some point the coaches have done their jobs. And it's up to the players to actually go out on the field and play the game. The students in Central's youth ministry similarly are expected at some point to begin doing actual ministry. I mean, we, ministry staff and parents, we're here to coach, to encourage, train a little bit, teach, but at some point we've got to let them go and let them play the game themselves. For for nearly 5 years, I've been watching them do that. I've been watching them take on more and more responsibility for the actual work of ministry, and they absolutely amaze me. I mean, they're going out on the field and playing the game incredibly well. Every day, I'm more and more amazed with their maturity and their understanding of spiritual matters. I think we have a group that understands being a Christian is not just something you do a few times a week. The group, I think, has made it very much a lifestyle. And what's more is that they're teaching their peers to do the same thing. We truly have a group of young disciples, and they're very serious, I think, about making other disciples. They inspire me on a regular basis, and I really believe that they're going to inspire anyone who looks closely enough to see what they're doing. If you stick around for long enough, you may see some of the older and even some of the younger teens and notice that they make a lot of decisions around here. They call all the shots, and they even seem like they're running the show, and there's a reason for that. It's because they are. In the CYM, they're not only allowed to take ownership of their ministry, they're expected to do that. We need to remember that it is, in fact, their ministry. It's not my ministry, it's not the parents' ministry, it's the youth ministry. I mean, it's a novel idea, I know, putting youth ministry in the hands of youth. Of course, we don't put the ministry in their hands and just wish them the best of luck and say, go do something. We train them to handle that responsibility. I mean, so much of my job is training our teams to take ownership of the ministry themselves. If I couldn't, I'm not going to do this, but if I couldn't walk away tomorrow and have everything pretty much continue as normal, I wouldn't think that I'd done a very good job. I don't want this ministry to depend on me or any other single person. President Reagan said that the goal of any welfare system should be to the greatest extent possible, eliminate the need for its own existence. I think that explains my job really well. My goal is to basically work myself out of a job. And all that being said, I want to go back to the idea that I can't do it alone. I see a lot of parents here tonight, and I want to talk to you guys directly for a moment. It really does take a village to raise a child. I suppose if I took a poll parents, if I called the parents and said, what word would you say characterizes me? I imagine I'd get a lot of different responses. I suppose if they were honest, some might call me a babysitter. Some might say that I'm like a school teacher just there to impart knowledge on a certain subject. But I think ideally, parents would call me a partner. I mean, I would be incredibly foolish to think that I could know how to raise your children better than you, or to even want to take that place in some ways. Parents, you are and always will be the most important influence on your children. I'm not here to tell you how to raise them, and I'm not here to raise them for you. I'm here to support you in that absolutely vital task. All right. So with that in mind, I want to show you guys some things. If I can do this without spilling water on my iPad. We want you guys to be involved. We need you guys to be involved. This needs to be a partnership. And one of the most crucial aspects of any partnership is communication. All right? And so what I want to do is take just a few minutes, hope the internet sticks with us, and let's see. And there we go. And walk you guys through the youth website. The address is really simple. It's www.cymathens.com. And this is our homepage. On the homepage, we've got a little thing on the left that welcomes folks, and then like the three most important upcoming events you'll see right here. You know, for instance, tonight we've got a thing up about this orientation. We've got a thing about Pray for the World, Fall Retreat. Okay, about every month or so, I'll post an article or something like that. I've had this one up for a few months because it's, you know, time of transition with a lot of new people coming in, but that will change as well. It's just a link to my blog if you're interested in going back and looking at other things. You've got our events page. At the top, it's got my email address and phone number if you need to call. Have any questions for me? You'll have a list of important dates, and then description of the most recent upcoming events. That's Fall Retreat, Celebration. And you'll also have an opportunity to register. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but we used to pass around sign-up sheets to see who was going to an event. And what would happen when you did that is you basically get the sheet would come around and somebody would think, well, I might go to that. So they'll write their name down, put a question mark by it, or maybe in parentheses or something like that. And even after doing that, you really don't know who's going to go. And so we've got this really, really awesome system that helps us keep up with everything. It's called the Ministry Tracker. This link right here and this link are both the same things. They take you to the exact same place. A lot of the new parents and the new students have done this. You've already gone online and created a profile. What you'll do when you want to register for an event, you'll click on that link and it'll bring you to this page. Okay? If you don't have an account yet, you can follow that link and create one. Even if you don't want to sign up for anything right now, you can just create it. Or you can log in to the account that you already have. Now, sometimes what people will do is they'll forget their usernames and passwords, and they'll just go ahead and create a new account. With this system, we also keep up with attendance and stuff, keep statistics and stuff like that. And so if you create a new account, you'll have two accounts, and it'll kind of mess up the attendance stuff. So if you forget your username or password, just let me know. I don't see y'all's passwords, but I can reset them. I can reset the username or the username so that you guys will be able to log in. I'm gonna log in real quick. Log you back in. Log you back in. All right. Everybody can zoom in. All right, so once you enter your password and username, this is what you'll see. This is my basic profile. You've got, when you want to sign up for an event, what you'll do is you'll click on that, and it'll take you to a different page. Any event that we're signing up for at the moment, you'll see right here. All right. All you do is you go over here, select the person, the student, click register, and that'll have you registered. You've got a description and stuff like that. Let me see if I can let me do this. Register. Yeah, it'll take you to this page. It'll have the description, the cost. This is your registration receipt. Okay, I've had a lot of folks say, well, it wanted me to pay, and I'm not sure if I really got registered. If you see this page, you're registered for the event. Okay, you don't have to pay. You can if you want to. You can put a credit card in there. They will charge you like $1 or $2 processing fee. But if that's convenient for you and you want to do it that way, you can pay that way, or you can just give me a check and I'll put it in there. And then below that, you'll always see the cancellation policy. You can go in and cancel your registration if you decide not to go, but there's always a deadline to do that. For the fall retreat, it's October the 10th. If you decide you don't want to go, you can go back in and click cancel. But again, if you read the fine print there, if you are still registered after October 10th, you're obligated to pay whether or not you actually participate. For a lot of these events, we've got to go ahead and send checks and pay for stuff, get everything situated. And so after that date, I'll do that, and you know, we'll even if somebody doesn't go, we'll still have to pay for them to go. All right. If parents want to create a profile, you're welcome to do that. And what you can do is you can create a family. Use that tab right there, and basically you can register your own children for events if you want to do that for them. You'll have your own kind of group, access to their accounts and stuff. Okay. Again, if you need to create a profile or anything like that, you can click on the registration button, or you can go to the ministry tracker logo. All right. So this is one way to get information. You've also got a link to our Central Church of Christ website, the Facebook page. Hopefully you guys are part of the group on Facebook. Folks, Rebecca just posted something in there. There's usually I'll always put information on Facebook or the Central Church of Christ website. We've got a Twitter account. You don't have to be on Twitter to see the tweets. You just click on that link, and it's just like it pulls up another web page. So I sent these two out today that reminds everybody about orientation and indoor soccer. This is a great source of information if you'll take the time to look at it. And we also put other stuff, articles we think people would like, and Bible verses, stuff like that. We've got a YouTube channel, got some pretty neat videos on that. The other way to get information is to be on our mailing list. Send an email out every week. And if you want to get on that, just shoot me an email and tell me to put you on if you're not on that. All right. Let's go quick. All right. We've got a few students who are going to help us out talking about some of our trips. If y'all would come on up here.
I thought this was just like everybody.
There's still.
I got school. Me too. I don't want to. I'll just say 2 words. Biggest part. How much? How much do I?
All right, so you're new to the youth ministry. You hear that we've got the fall retreat celebration coming up, and you say, what in the world are those things? So we're going to go through the trips we have each year. What I'd like for you guys to do is just, when we go on the trip, just explain to people what you think they need to know that you think is important about the trip. Now, this last year, the first time we went to I guess you could say it was like a combined retreat with several other youth ministries in Alabama called Festivus. It was at camp, some camp in Anniston. I'm hoping it won't be there again because we had to climb Mount Everest to get to the cabin. What do you guys think folks need to know about Festivus?
Festivus isn't just like our church, and it's a lot of the churches in like the Huntsville area. So I know me and Patrick know a lot of people there. But I guess it's just a really good time. Like the last year, it was about Simply Jesus. So I don't know if it'll be similar to that this year, but it's just kind of a time for like churches in our area to get to come to know Jesus better.
Well, and there's some even like from South, like there was one from Montgomery.
Some
and
are from like a little further out, but I guess it's like a winter fest for people that don't go to winter fest.
That's why it's called
That's
Festivus.
the rest of
Yeah. What else?
Yeah, basically just what Lydia said. I've really gotten to know a lot of people from different churches around, like in the area, Madison, Huntsville. A lot of them through like Patrick and Olivia, and Impact, but also like just Festivus. It really helps you like, keep up with like relationships you have with people over there. And also, it's just more importantly, it's just a really good retreat. I know this year we had like a great ego, and we all just kind of got closer as a group, and also I think we got closer to God.
So, and you've kind of like Brody was saying, you've got the time with all the groups, but you also have time with just your group. All right, now, all four of these guys are on the youth leadership team. If you're, no. Other people on the youth leadership team, if y'all would stand up, just be recognized. All right.
Yeah.
Y'all explain a little bit about what the youth leadership team is and our vision retreat that we have in February each year.
Okay, youth leadership team is basically just like, it's like much of us basically just choose to become part of the group, and really for the most part we kind of just, along with Will, and it's not just students, we got some adults on there too. We make a lot of the decisions for like what we want to go to, like when we decide we want to go to Festivus and Celebration, we all talk about it there. And then like I know Olivia right now is like making the shirts for the retreat, and so we decide on like who we want to speak there at the retreat, and also like the theme and that kind of stuff. Basically, mostly anything that goes on, somebody on the team brings up and says, "Hey, I want to do this." So,
Anybody else?
The vision retreat is just, I guess, the time that we take our weekend off and just kind of plan out for the rest of the year and talk about like what we did in the past that was really good and stuff that we would want to change.
Yeah. Kind of evaluate things. And also as part of the youth leadership team, all the teams who are on there get peer helper training, kind of like mediation, stuff like that, conflict resolution, all that kind of stuff. And so in addition to just making decisions, planning stuff, we also expect them to really be the spiritual, provide some spiritual guidance and leadership and stuff like that. And just help make sure that relationships are forming in the group, are going well, that kind of stuff. All right. Well, let's bring it to action.
We did the basically bring it to action is basically just like every year we decide to do as a huge group, go out and do service activities in the spring. Let's bring it to action. But this year we went out to Fifth Avenue. We planted flags. Is that all we did? That's the only thing we did. Okay, yeah, we really did a lot of landscaping over at Fifth Avenue apartments, and it changes year by year. 2 years ago we did, or maybe 3 years ago, we helped out one of Philip Bolton's friends on Eagle Scout thing, and we'll like do Bills on Wheels where we take nude people in the church.
It's basically a Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, where we get together. We'll eat too. Usually have a sleepover at somebody's house and focus on a specific area of service and really try to get a lot done, make a big impact here. All right. Impact.
Impact is awesome. Okay. Well, what you do at Impact, it's a different experience. Like if you haven't gone to the basically at Impact you get onto a spiritual high and you're like, yeah, let's go to Impact and stuff like that. But anyway, the lessons, it really makes you think. And like a lot of people, like during the lessons, like we'll have our discussion groups after it, and like a lot of people cry. Like it gets intense. and anyway, but it just really gets you pumped up, and like you want to try to maintain. Like when you get home, you want to try to keep doing what you did at Impact, like learning about God and understanding why He died for us, and just, I guess, become a leader and person.
I think, and Impact is always, junior Impact is Father's Day weekend, senior Impact is the week following that, if you want to plan. A lot of people, when it comes time to sign up, they hear Impact's awesome, Impact's great, it's intense, and all this kind of stuff. But they don't necessarily know what you do at Impact. Like, what are some of the things that you do, just average day?
Each morning we have like a quiet time with God, which is like, most people don't, at first it's really awkward, but it ends up becoming your favorite part of the week just because it's your one-on-one time with God. And they have a lot of devos and stuff.
Yeah, you got like Olivia was saying, you have like your I think it's like 20 minutes, just alone time, and then after that you have that's always really awesome. That's my favorite part of the day. And then it's like morning focus after that. Like I said, then they have like go to class, and then you have morning impact, which is I can't really describe it. It's once you've been,
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Different one. And then after that, you have another class, lunch, and another class. Like the classes aren't boring. It's not a class. It's like a class.
They're not bad. They're only about 45 minutes.
And then after that, you have 4 or 5 hours of free time, and play basketball or whatever you want to do. And then that night, you have like worship time, and they have like a lesson, and it's really awesome. And then after that, you have your group devo, and just letting you know, it doesn't matter how like tough of a guy you think you are, you will not necessarily cry. There's a very good chance.
No, you will cry.
You will cry.
I mean, the lack of sleep helps.
It's like there's guys like I thought like some of the toughest guys I know would just have been in complete tears, hugging each other in a group hug. Joseph did. And it's just it's a great time. It's by far my favorite week of the year, and we're always trying to get people to go. But if you haven't been yet, you're
Also, the worship, I know you kind of, the worship is like kind of amazing. It's like thousands of people singing out their heart. So, I mean, if you don't even like going, like some people just go for the worship just because it's that great. But
Summer mission trip.
Okay. Yeah, Montgomery.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we go each summer to Montgomery, inner city. Compassion 21 is Montgomery inner city ministry down there, and it's right there at the Impact as far as like my favorite week of the year. It's definitely a different thing. It's not. I think it's fun, but it's fun for a completely different reason. It's really hard work. You spend a couple of days just really serving people that you really would never, typically even be involved with at all. And I think it really does stretch your faith a lot. You go like on prayer walks, and just, if you haven't been to Montgomery, there's some pretty bad parts down there, and it's really special.
The mystery retreat.
Okay. I didn't go on one this summer, but I was on football. But we had a 7-on-7 tournament. But it's alright. We joke around. So like you get on the bus and you don't really know where you're going. This year's like the first year Little really dropped hints for people. But pretty much for 3 days you're just going to somewhere you don't even know, and usually it's a roller coaster place, a baseball game or something like that. It's really fun.
Yeah, and when he says you don't know where you're going, it's not like you get on the bus not knowing. It's, you get on the bus and I start driving, and until we stop, you don't know. And even once we stop, there's usually somewhere else. So, all right, the fall retreat.
It's a retreat for our church to get closer together. And we have it at different places, but this year is at Camp Women's Hospital. It'll be fun. But it's just a time for people to get to know each other if you don't know anybody in the group. Like, most people, if they've said that they don't have anyone or any friends at church, like, you don't have any friends because you haven't been on a retreat yet. It's the same, but unless you know someone already. But most people get to be really close just because they go on the retreats and they get to be really good friends with people and they get to know each other better. But fall retreats are really good times for our church to get to know each other better and grow closer to them.
Celebration.
Celebration is something to do like 2 weeks, 2 to 3, very soon after the fall retreat, and it's like a youth rally we do in Kentucky, and it's about 1,000 people. It's like a very, very small scale impact. I guess it's not as long, but it's like that's the only thing I can really compare it to. But we're staying at like a state park up there, and there's like 1,500 people probably. But it's really cool. We do it every year, or this same year we don't. But singing and lessons, and it's really fun time.
This year, a couple of the guys who were up on stage at Impact during Morning Impact, Todd Lloyd and David Skidmore, are going to be the speakers. So, all right, appreciate you guys. Talking about the discipleship process, every single one of those trips fits somewhere into the discipleship process, whether it's under love God, love each other, or serve the world. All right, Don Pittman's going to come up and share some of his thoughts from the perspective of a parent, and then we'll be done.
So one of the first things you need to know about, especially if you're new, if your child is in the 7th grade, this is new to them. We don't get out at 7:45 on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. So that's why the last few Wednesday nights when you've been looking for your child downstairs at 7:45, they're not there. We take the whole hour up here, we have a little time of worship, and then there'll be an introduction lesson by Will, and then we'll divide up into our small groups starting next Wednesday night, and then we'll dismiss from the small groups after we have our prayer time there. So why am I up here? Well, I've been a part of working with the youth ministry for about 7 years now. We formed at that point in time what we call the youth leadership team. This was actually an idea that Chris Kirby had, our previous youth minister, and it's made up of the kids and right now 9 adults. So the adults are myself, my wife Donna, Matt Hammond, one of our shepherds, William Beth Patton, Greg and Sandra Chambers, and Clark and Amy Harrington. We together with the kids, we're more of the adults are what I would call facilitators. We don't tell y'all what the theme for fall retreat is going to be. Y'all decide that. We then do whatever we can, help them brainstorm then to flesh out maybe some of the details and help them with some of the implementation parts. But the youth ministry is, by and large, run by the kids. And that's what I think, as parents, we all want. Because that's how they're going to actually internalize their own faith. It's not because, you know, you got some adults or will youth ministers saying, okay, this is what you need to do, we're going to get together and do this at this point in time, this point in time, this point in time. No, it's, okay, what do y'all want to do for a service project? what do y'all want to do for fall retreat theme? What, based on what trips and all, what trips, do we want to do this year? We'll evaluate every trip after we get back from it. That's what the youth leadership team does. And the way the kids become a part of that team is they have to fill out an application, and then it'll get reviewed by the current team, and then they'll be led on to the team. Adults, we like to sort of get to know you a little bit. We draw from not only the youth leadership team, we draw from all the parents and congregation, adults in the congregation at large, for chaperones and people to host events at their home, or just to go to a devotional, or maybe be a speaker or teach or whatever. And then what we want to make sure of is that the people, the adults that we bring onto the youth leadership team really and truly buy into the philosophy that we have, where the ministry is theirs. We are just the support to them. We're there to lead discussion groups, yes. But why do we do that? So that one night a month, the kids can do it themselves. We're just a role model that they hopefully can then copy, and again, like I said, internalize what we have as our faith, internalize that to themselves. As Will pointed out, the parents, we have to have you as partners. We'll acknowledge the fact that you are going to be the most influential people in the lives of your children. My children may consider themselves grown at this point, I don't know. My son's going to be getting married in December. My oldest son and then my youngest son is in college at Auburn. They've been through this program. And I can see as a father, and I think Donna would say the same thing from a mother's perspective, we saw their faith grow. There are a lot of things that we'll introduce to the children that they're going to ask some questions, hopefully of you. And hopefully it's going to encourage some discussion and debate around the supper table or whatever. We want this to be an interactive ministry, an interactive learning experience that they share with you. I would encourage, for instance, as events and trips are advertised, let your child be the one to approach you about wanting to go on the trip. See if that works first, because we would like for the children actually to be the ones to take the responsibility of coming to you and working out however you fund the trip, whether they work for it, or whether it's part of their allowance, or whether it's just something that you want to do for them. But let them come to you. Let them ask you, hey, can I go on this trip? And then in return, ask them, well, why do you want to go? Now, initially, they may say, well, because Brady's going. And that's fine. But at some point, I think, which will start getting back as well, I think this will be a good opportunity for me to get to know so-and-so. They're going on a trip. I want to get to know them better. That's part of loving each other. That's part of our discipleship process. Maybe their answer is, well, I want this time to be able to get to know God better. Or maybe it's a service project that we're doing, and it gives them that opportunity to serve the world. So talk to them about what they're learning up here on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings and the trips. Have interactive discussions with them. We want you to get involved. We will be asking some of you to go on fall retreat or celebration or festivals. And we understand. Your schedule may not allow you to go on this trip. We'll come back and ask you again. Don't worry about that. Because it takes more than just the adults that are on the youth leadership team to pull this off. We need your help. We need you to be partners. One thing that Will mentioned Illuminate on Sunday mornings. Illuminate is different than what your children have been used to in Sunday school. It's a time that we give them opportunities to share from their own faith, their own experiences that they've had in the past week, to maybe share something with the group. We'll have some time to sing and worship at the beginning. We're all together as a whole, reading through the Gospels this year. And that's one of the focal points of Illuminate. Right now we're into Matthew. And it gives us some common content and some common study from which we can discuss and share things. But it goes beyond even our reading through the Gospels. It's anything that you want to share. I'll have to hand Cody. He's done great. He's shared with us some of his poems, and they could be turned into songs very easily, I think. Sometimes the children want to share, it's just as simple as maybe a video that they've seen on the internet that would encourage or educate us about God or about His church. It may be that they've, in their own reading and study, want to share a verse from Scripture, maybe even without comment. They just want to read it to us and share it with us. What this does, again, is it's letting them live out their faith. It's letting them truly put on Christ, being clothed in Christ, and being able to share from His Word and any experiences. You know, we want everyone to be able to truly share from their heart what the Spirit's put on their heart. And Illuminate gives us that opportunity. It's a very biblical thing. It's exactly what Paul was telling the church in Corinth to do. So, what I bring that up is, I would love for parents, whenever you would like, come up and pay us a visit on Sunday mornings. See what it's about. And I think that you'll see the benefit that it has for the children and for all of us. I get a lot out of it myself. I learned so much from our youth. They have taught me a lot. I think that covers everything that I wanted to bring up, and I just wanted to open up. I know we've probably already run over our 8 o'clock time limit. We're 8:08 right now, but if there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer it from a parent's perspective or from an adult on the youth leadership team, if there are any questions. You must have done a good job. Anything else that you...
Once again, we just appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate you taking an interest in what we're doing. And as we stressed tonight, we're all working together to enable these teens to become disciples who make other disciples. My number, my phone number, my email address on the website, in several different places. If you got any questions, any concerns, any comments at all, please let me know. And the only other thing I would add is, you know, if you want to get involved and help out, don't wait for us to come ask you. We love having folks come in and say, I'd like to do this or I'd like to do that. So.
And Will is a single male, and so he is free for lunch every Sunday if you want to take him out for lunch. No, honestly, I mean, that's how, you know, I've got to know Will, is we do, a lot of times, we'll just say, hey, you know, after church is over, go down there and say, hey, what are you doing for lunch? I would actually suggest to your parents, try that sometime, and you'll get a much better feeling for the youth ministry. You can ask them one-on-one questions. It's a good opportunity.
All right, thank you guys for coming. We'll see you.